In the beginning, there was nothing. The universe was a vast, chaotic ocean, from which the primordial mound Ben arose. On top of Ben sat a lotus flower, and when it bloomed, it brought forth the god Ra into the world, along with light. Ra, on his own, created the first gods, Shu, the god of air, and Tefnut, the goddess of rain. The universe was enveloped in endless primordial waters, into which Shu and Tefnut descended to explore its depths. Ra grew anxious over the prolonged absence of his children, and fearing he might never see them again, sent his most trusted messenger to find them. When Shu and Tefnut returned safely, Ra was so overjoyed that from his tears, humanity was born. In time, Shu and Tefnut had children of their own, Geb, the god of earth, and Nut, the goddess of the sky. Thus, the heavens and earth were formed. The great god Ra, sovereign of all, ruled the universe with unmatched power and earned the title of the first pharaoh. He blessed Egypt with sacred animals like the ox and lion, but his most precious gift was the creation of the Nile River, around which a civilization devoted to the gods flourished. However, Ra foresaw that his grandchildren would bring forth a new generation of gods who would end his rule. To prevent this, he forbade Nut and Geb from bearing children. Yet, Nut and Geb defied Ra and birthed a powerful lineage: Isis, Nephthys, Seth, and Osiris. These gods dethroned Ra, with Osiris taking the throne of the world. The new ruler Osiris, supreme among the gods, married the goddess Isis and initiated an era of prosperity. He brought civilization to humankind, teaching them agriculture, weaving, and bread making, and he established laws to bring order to chaos. Under Osiris's benevolent rule, Egyptian civilization began to flourish. But Osiris had an ambitious and powerful brother, Seth, whose barren desert lands lay outside of Egypt, and he envied Osiris's fertile and thriving kingdom. Osiris also had an affair with Nephthys, Seth's wife, from which the god of death, Anubis, was born. Enraged by his brother's betrayal, Seth plotted revenge. During a grand feast in Osiris's honor, Seth presented a beautiful coffin and declared it would be given to whoever fit perfectly inside. Osiris tried it, and as soon as he lay down, Seth sealed the coffin and threw it into the Nile, drowning Osiris. Heartbroken, Isis mourned deeply, her tears flooding the Nile each year. She and her sister Nephthys searched for Osiris's body. When Isis found it, she tried to hide it, but Seth discovered it, tore it into 42 pieces, and scattered them across Egypt. With Anubis's help, Isis gathered the pieces and, guided by the god of death, mummified Osiris. Using her divine powers, Isis resurrected him, but Osiris could now only rule over the dead. Before he departed, he and Isis conceived a son, Horus, who vowed to defeat Seth and reclaim his rightful throne. Seth, god of chaos, had seized the throne, spreading terror over Egypt. However, Horus, now grown, challenged Seth's rule. A divine court, presided over by the sun god Ra, convened to determine who should rightfully rule. A fierce conflict erupted between Seth and Horus. Though Seth had Ra's favor for protecting him from the serpent Apep on his celestial journey, he challenged Horus to a test. Both would transform into hippos and remain submerged for 3 months. Horus trusted his mother, Isis, to exploit Seth's vulnerability and strike him down, but she spared Seth out of pity. Enraged by what he saw as betrayal, Horus lashed out, severing his mother's head, which Thoth later replaced with that of a cow. The rivalry between Horus and Seth persisted over the years, and during a fierce battle in the desert, Seth gouged out Horus's eyes. Thanks to the goddess Hathor, Horus's sight was restored. Finally, the gods' court demanded reconciliation. Seth, feigning goodwill, invited Horus to a feast, but during the night attempted to defile him, hoping to make him unworthy of the throne. Horus defended himself, thwarting Seth's plan. Seeking revenge, Horus, with Isis's help, tricked Seth into consuming tainted lettuce, causing Seth to weaken before the gods. A golden disc appeared on Seth's forehead, which Thoth took and placed on his own. Humiliated, Seth lost favor, and after 80 years, the court awarded the throne to Horus. Isis was overjoyed to see her son take his rightful place, succeeding his father. Seth was condemned to accompany Ra on his journey through the skies, his rage echoing in thunder, while Horus began his reign as the ancestor of all future pharaohs. Ra, the sun god of Egyptian mythology, is depicted as a man with a falcon's head, crowned with a sun disk. Once the greatest of all gods, Ra grew weary with age, eventually ceding power and ascending to the skies. Revered throughout Egypt, Ra was especially honored in Heliopolis, where he was associated with other supreme deities, merging into forms like Amun-Ra and Atum-Ra. Many pharaohs, like Ramses, son of Ra, invoked his name to reinforce their divine status. As the sun god, Ra's task was to banish darkness, traversing the skies by day in his sunboat and, come twilight, descending into the underworld. There, Ra navigated 12 gates, each representing a region of the netherworld, meeting Osiris and honoring him at one. Every night, Ra faced the monstrous serpent Apep, a force of chaos bent on consuming his vessel. Once, Apep swallowed the sunboat, plunging the world into darkness, though she eventually regurgitated him, marking a solar eclipse. Ra's voyage through the underworld grew safer once Seth, defeated by Horus, was condemned to accompany him, defending the boat from Apep. Ra was worshipped widely, his prestige uniting with other Egyptian deities, while his name inspired many pharaohs. Anubis, the jackal-headed god associated with the afterlife, was one of Egypt's oldest deities. Originally the primary god of death, he was later succeeded in this role by Osiris. Anubis, also the god of embalming, was honored during funerals, where priests wearing jackal masks performed rites. As protector of tombs, he guarded the souls of the deceased. According to legend, Anubis was the child of Nephthys and Osiris, conceived when Nephthys, disguised as Isis, seduced Osiris. Furious, Seth avenged this betrayal by killing Osiris and scattering his body across Egypt. After Isis found the pieces, Anubis assisted her, transforming Osiris into the first mummy and leading him to the underworld where the souls of the dead would be judged. Anubis weighed the deceased's heart against the feather of truth. A heart heavier than the feather was devoured by Ammit, the heart-eater, while a lighter heart ensured eternal life. During the Greek and Roman periods, Anubis was merged with Hermes, becoming Hermanubis, who guided souls. Even after the fall of Egyptian religion, Anubis's legacy endured, his role as the psychopomp remaining legendary. Bastet, the cat-headed goddess, held a special place in Egyptian mythology. Cats, revered as sacred animals, were honored for protecting food from pests and warding off venomous snakes. Bastet, associated with the sun, accompanied Ra in his celestial boat by day, transforming into a vigilant lioness at night to guard against Apep. Her worship spanned Egypt, and harming a cat was considered a grave offense. Cats, viewed as family members, were sometimes seen braving fires to save lives, a tale that fueled the belief in their 9 lives. Bastet was linked to Sekhmet, a fierce lioness goddess, and in some versions, was her sister. Though the worship of Egyptian gods faded, cats remain revered animals to this day,